All three scorecards go to the winner by unanimous decision, Dillian Whyte.
Dillian, the body snatcher Whyte, fails the drug test for a banned substance, and Oscar Rivas and his team was not informed.
Just a few days after the Whyte vs. Rivas fight, Boxing Scene reported that Dillian Whyte had tested positive for 2 derivatives of the banned substance Dianabol prior to the fight against Rivas. Dianabol is an anabolic steroid that is known to increase strength, power, and physical mass. Whyte's promoter Eddie Hearn was left trying to come up with an explanation for the reports.
Okay, question for you. Was the WBC notified about the inquiry?
I don't know. That's a question for the British Boxing Board of Control. We don't notify people of confidential information between a fighter, the governing body, and the testing agency.
So effectively, Eddie Hearn admits that he did not notify Oscar Rivas, Dillian Whyte's opponent, nor did he notify the WBC of Dillian Whyte's failed drug test. Instead, Dillian Whyte, the British Boxing Board of Control, and UKAD, United Kingdom Anti-Doping, the agency that was involved in administering the tests, had a private meeting just before the fight and cleared Whyte to fight.
How can you allow somebody who is tested positive, can you allow that fight to happen without his opponent knowing? Nobody can justify that. I don't care what they say.
When they have information of a positive anabolic steroid sample, that fight should not happen.
Well, it's terrible. I mean, PEDs put the opponent in danger. It has to be stopped. And I thought that the British Board of Boxing Control, whatever they call themselves, did the wrong thing. Not necessarily letting the fight go on, but not letting the other side know. I mean, that's horrible. How can you do that?
Boxing Scene reporter Thomas Hauser should be accredited as a whistleblower to this pet case. And as it stands today, Dillian Whyte is set to fight on the undercard of this weekend's big heavyweight championship rematch, Andy Ruiz Jr. versus Anthony Joshua. Dillian Whyte's going to be fighting Moritz Wach. He's being allowed to fight. He's being allowed to fight despite testing positive for steroids. UKAD, the United Kingdom Anti-Doping. This agency has not been transparent. They haven't came out with any statements, any public statements about the situation. They have not even suspended Dillian Whyte. They haven't put him on any type of temporary suspension or fined him whatsoever. They are basically leaving everybody to question the situation. This is egregious to allow a guy who just got popped to fight twice before even getting handed down any type of suspension or regulation for that positive test. Now, luckily in America, there is still efforts to clean up this issue. Nevada State Athletic Commission has started to make some strides towards that. But this is an example that's going down in the UK. Now, the big fights in Saudi Arabia, there's no commission that's going to oversee or regulate whether Dillian Whyte is allowed to fight or not, because nobody suspended him. There's no transparency on what happened with him in that drug test with UKAD, the British Boxing Board of Control. It took a reporter to break the news for it to even be relevant or in the public eye. So, if I were asked to name boxing's worst fault, I'd say that it was the almost universal tendency to cover up or ignore wrongdoing. That was said by Dan Parker in 1953. Still holds true today. But the other excerpt that I wanted to read comes from a scholarly journal titled The Morality of Prize Fighting. In one of the articles that talks about the grievances against boxing commissions. It says that there's a lack of centralized control which makes for poor cooperation among states regarding suspensions. That's why in this case Dillian Whyte, who just got popped, can go fight in a foreign country of Saudi Arabia and will be allowed to fight. That's why you see the situation with Eddie Hearn and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who Julio Cesar Chavez did not want to take a VADA drug test, random drug test, for this fight against Danny Jacobs. He refused to take it. Nevada suspended him for not taking it. Eddie Hearn, same promoter as Dillian Whyte, moves the fight to Arizona. Arizona is going to let the fight go on. Once again, the example of a lack of centralized control, making it poor cooperation among states regarding suspensions. So Arizona's not honoring Nevada's suspension of Julio Cesar Chavez. They're going to sanction a fight with him and Danny Jacobs. So, I mean, we're bringing out facts. We're bringing out research, too, behind it now. So, at this point, you cannot debunk what's going down. It's your boy Young Can 2. Subscribe. Hit me up. Comment. This is what we do, baby.